for Teamer? That's actually a good question. Maybe we'll play both. Maybe we'll do 2 leagues. There's been enough people asking about it that we might just do 2 leagues. My article going up on Gathering Magic on Friday this week will be talking about both the lack of modern changes and the massive changes that happened in Legacy. This is interesting. Can we talk about this turn 1? I feel like this is like really important, and like the right answer to what I'm doing on 1 here varies depending on like the other support I have surrounding it. The decks with Deathrite and Probe in the queue will be changed to other things, Foxicon. Most of them have already been changed, I believe. Grove is likely green-red Eldrazi, could also be KCI. So I probably just want a Glistener Elf, assuming it's KCI, right? I feel like assuming it's KCI, a Glistener Elf. Details and how the donation decks work are here. Living End. This matchup's probably very hard for us. I'm gonna get Overgrown Tomb here. And I'm gonna jam this Noble Hierarch and make this a 3/3 and then attack. Or make this a 2/3 and then attack for 3. Yeah, I was actually going to say, if this matchup's winnable, it's going to be on the back of Inkmoth Nexus. So here's the thing, though, Earthbounder, and I'm going to get into this in my article on Thursday, in my article on Friday. If Modern and Standard are healthy, and that means we shouldn't make any changes to them as formats, does that mean we should stop printing new Magic cards? Should we just say, hey, these formats are healthy, and M19, we're going to put that on hold. We're just going to stop printing Magic cards, and we're not going to introduce anything else to these formats because they're healthy how they are now. No, we're not going to do that, right? We're going to keep printing Magic cards. So if we're going to keep printing Magic cards anyways, sure, Pauper and Modern then, Vintage, whatever. The non-rotating formats. We're going to say, hey, they're healthy. We don't want to add anything. It's like, well, that probably doesn't make sense, right? Well, the next Pro Tour is Modern, Sherman. The next Pro Tour is Standard, Modern, Legacy. I think saying the format is healthy so we can't unban cards that are safe unbans is silly. I think you should just, like, not have cards on your ban list that shouldn't be there. It wouldn't have mattered if we could have pushed anything. This actually is probably the game. Yeah, I'm just... Oh, yeah, they've got dubs flyers. Alright, so we get to cut these. Oh, we have Trip Spellbomb. Could maybe buy us enough time here. Duress is also okay. Discard is, like, not amazing in a matchup like this, but it's, like, fine. It's not impressive, but it's, like, okay. I don't think that's true, Urza. So actually, I'd like to address Urza's statement here, and I might clip this for a rant, maybe. So Urza said, you shouldn't have cards on your ban list, period, if you've done a good job. I think that's probably true in Standard, but formats like Modern and Legacy, Wizards of the Coast doesn't design their formats with their cards with all these formats in mind. It is a basically impossible job to expect them to test every set and new card they release against 20 years of previous cards. So formats like Modern and Legacy, having a ban list and having cards on that ban list is expected and fine, and implying otherwise is absurd to me. Like, expecting them to test all of these cards in all these different ways is just very, very silly to me. Well, we have our sideboard cards, so we should keep, right? I just feel like I can't cut threat density. I just think you should be reevaluating the ban list of this. Okay, sweet. So this hand's actually setting up very well. We have turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Spellbomb, turn 3 Crusader. Hopefully run the game. All right, well, I guess we take their living end. And this is actually a great example of why discard spells aren't very good in this matchup, because you can see here we had our turn 1 disruption, but our opponent's hand is going to cycle into a bunch of new things. So even if they had a cascade spell in their opening hand, there's a good chance they just find another one here. The person who designed True Name should be fired because it's unplayable in the format it was designed for, and it's broken in the other format it's legal in. I agree. Shouldn't we have cast Thoughtseize to take an extra card? Well, I guess that's true because I know I'm drawing the Spellbomb. Maybe because I know my top card is Spellbomb. Because all their other cards are cards that cycle, cards that they... I guess if I take a cycler, it lets them see one less card. Am I supposed to take a cycler there? That's actually a really good question. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, my brain went to, they want these cards in their discard pile, so I don't want to put them there. But yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think I was supposed to take a cycler. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I should have taken a cycler. Yeah, I think we definitely should have taken a cycler. Maybe their clips are having issues. The clip definitely loaded for me, but maybe some of their mirrors are having issues. I'm just going to dismiss their hand because we don't know any other cards that they have. We've cycled through enough at this point. Yeah, honestly, I'm okay with that 2 Dars. I think even implying that standard shouldn't have bans is a little bit silly. Even designing within like 2,000 cards is a pretty complex process a lot of the time. And personally, I would prefer that WotC push the limits on their design rather than being super conservative with everything. All right, so can we just talk about how sweet First Strike Infect is for a moment and how impossible it is to beat this card inside of combat even when you can block it, which this can't because it's red. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to play this out, right? I'm just supposed to pass the turn here. Honestly, it's not even just the fact that like this card has protection from red and white, which is great in the format in general. The fact that it has First Strike Infect is huge. So this is important. You want to wait till they put the living end on the stack to Nihil Spellbomb them. And I assume they are going to cycle. They're going to cycle some things in response here. So this is how Living End beats an effect like Spellbomb, or not. A lot of the time, Living End can beat a single Spellbomb by cycling creatures after the Spellbomb resolves before the Living End happens. What you got over there? What you working with? You got some candy? That's some candy. Some dandy candy. So they have 2 lands, Arc Fiend. Oh, geez, they're gonna get to play Arc Fiend next turn. Can we actually just can't beat this card, right? Well, the other thing too is Bulletproof Pope. That's a little bit different too, because, and this is a good thing about Hearthstone design, is that Hearthstone, by and large, doesn't really have cards for limited in the same, we need to become immense, right? It doesn't really have cards for limited in the same way that Magic has cards for limited. If you think about it and you really look at the cards in Magic sets, a significant portion of cards in Magic sets are never intended to be constructed playable. Whereas, in my experience, a lot of the cards in these Hearthstone sets are constructed playable somewhere. There isn't just a bunch of chaff. In proportion to the amount of chaff that Magic has, it's very, very low. Right. Good guy Magic Online offering me a block when I don't have one. Vines of the Vastwood is an amazing draw here, because it means if my opponent's trying to get greedy and double cycle, we get to kill them. We're in the business of going for it here, right? All right, so in response to this, I'm going to go ahead and kick this. Kick it! All right, so if they hit another cycler with this, we do lose. But if they don't... Oh man. Yeah, this matchup seems really bad for us. Matchup seems really bad. This matchup's probably bad for Blue-Green Infect as well. And I don't have a ton of experience with Blue-Green Infect, but I'd have to imagine, especially with Arcfiend Ifnur, like... it would be pretty absurd. Why do you hate Fun Opponent? It's a question I ask myself every day. Combo breaker. And thank you to everybody who's checked out the Honey install so far. Looks like there are 37 wonderful people that did it this morning. I appreciate that. Head on into our second match here with Green-Black Infect on the play. So, one of the reasons why decks like this are good is because in addition to being able to kill on turn 3, you don't have to kill on turn 3 with a deck like this. So, yes, while this deck is capable of explosive kill you on turn 2 to turn 3, turn 2 to turn 3 draws, it doesn't have to do that. This is the style of matchup where Crusader will be very reasonable. It doesn't die to Kolaghan's Command, it doesn't die to Lightning Bolt, and on the back of Mutagenic Growth, we can insulate it against Collective Brutality. It's basically like just Fatal Push we really have to worry about. That being said, I imagine this matchup's probably a little bit hard for us, but we also have 2 Liliana the Veils in our side, Liliana the Last Hope in our sideboard, which should be very good. Yeah, I'm gonna pack it in at this point. Oh, I guess I just get to, no, I'm a liar. I'm a liar. I'm a liar. We have Mutagenic Growth. Shh. We have Mutagenic Growth. That's actually a really good draw. Honey is a free web browser that when you are shopping, it checks online for better deals and coupon codes for the things that you're going to be buying anyways. It doesn't bother you if it can't save you money, and it does not sell or repurpose any of your user information. Morning, Marion. Honey generates revenue by every time they save you money, they get a kickback for saving you money. So basically, when they generate sales for other places by sending you there to save you money or using their stuff, they get feedback back that way. It's really just the best. This is like the easiest shill ever. It's only good. It saves you money. When it can't save you money, it just sits in your browser doing nothing. You tricked me into installing it. Look at that, UTZ Zach, thank you. It's got a fun little pop-up on screen too. I'm a sucker for good technology. Fuck, how do we ever beat a Lingering Souls? Am I just like burning a Vines of the Vastwood to attack into this Lingering? Can we ever beat this card? I guess I just like need a Crusader. The ring noise is the honey, when the honey notification pop-ups. I might have to disable that sound. It's probably a little annoying. Pendelhaven. I enjoy the sound. I think I'm just passing for now. Should crop rotate for Pendelhaven? Need the notification to be bees buzzing. The advertising company I'm working with that does like the integrations for the overlay, they're looking for feedback. I'm gonna have to give them feedback on allowing me to customize the notifications. Cause like being able to like do bees buzzing or something like that would be fun. Be thematic. Had a Sylvan Scrying in the board. That's kind of sweet. Sylvan Scrying is neat. It lets you... Oh, this feels bad. So we get to protect this, but like I'm losing both my vines here. That seems a little loose. No Crusader. I feel like Crusader is a big reason to play this. I feel like Crusader is a big reason to play this deck. It's giving me discounted things I want to buy. Help. Thanks, Ginger Cakes. Check it out, honey. All right, I think I'm supposed to offer this trade at this point. Just like it makes the removal less live moving forward. So I think trading this for half a Lingering Souls is like a decent exchange for us. My girlfriend says I should stop watching you, so I stop spending money on magic decks. What if, counter-offer, Kazark Mage, what if you get her to watch me as well, and then you spend money on magic decks together? I'm gonna concede to a second Lingering Souls. I'm a liar. I'm gonna take one more draw step. All right, let's go. I think we have a much better shot post board here, especially with these. Looking forward to these Lilianas. These last hopes. Good to bring a Maelstrom Pulse too. God, green black just gets such good sideboard cards. It's kind of absurd. This is not a fatal push matchup, right? There's like 0% want this card. I think this is a Nihil Spellbomb matchup, right? We just want to. I feel like we want to get set up to grind a little bit, huh? Rancor's good at punching through Lingering Souls. Is this a Mutagenic Growth matchup? I guess Mutagenic Growth saves our guys from Collective Brutality. And Brutality is one of their best ways to kill my Phyrexian Crusader. So I feel like I'm supposed to keep that. That means yes, so it's... Can't find your way against control. You want to go a little bit slow and steady, and generally you want to set up silence turns to stick your Ascendancies, Rog. Yeah, I guess Blood Moon's a bit annoying. We could bring this in. What am I cutting? What am I cutting now? I feel like it's probably some of the non-protection pump, right? Like trimming. This could be a brutality matchup. I could see that. I feel like I might be overboarding at this point, but maybe it's just better than these. I could see that. How do we feel about this? We just can't cut threats, chat. All of our threats are bad against Lingering Souls. We have to just, like, grind through them. No, I don't think. I'm pretty confident that trimming threats is wrong. I'm pretty confident that trimming threats is wrong. I think trim 1 Mutagenic and 1 Become Immense seems reasonable. You can play Guttural Response, Rog, but no, not a general silence effect. Maybe I'm supposed to cut all the Become Immenses. Our odds to cheese with them are pretty low, and it looks really bad in opening hand like this. Maybe I'm supposed to go down to 1 at most. I could see that. Just like looking at this hand and like thinking about what I wanted to do. I'm working on an Esper, Delver, Lingering Souls list. It might make a good donation deck list that falls to the mid-range classification. Make sure you have a nut draw. Yeah, I honestly just submit like Thought Scour, Tassiger, Thought Scour, Delve threats. If you're not already doing Thought Scour and Delve threats, that's probably a good direction to go. The fact that they just burned a Collective Brutality on this Plague Stinger is absurd for us. Like, hopefully this leaves them very cold to this Phyrexian Crusader. That's a good suggestion, too. Oh, this is actually really small, but it's important. If I would have played the Urborg last turn, I could have played Inkmoth this turn and potentially been attacking for more damage next turn. So my land sequencing there was pretty relevant. You can hear that alarm noise going off in the background. That's just the Tuesday morning tornado alarm test here where I live. First Tuesday of the month. I'm A-okay, don't worry. Everything is fine. Nobody panic. Okay, I'm panicking. I'm panicking. Just gonna boop him right on the nose here, chat. Just boop him on the nose. I take back everything bad I said about you, Become Immense. I love you and you're beautiful. I love you and you're beautiful, Become Immense. And they'd be at 9 Infect right now if I just sequenced my lands correctly last turn. I'm watching BFV, so I thought it was that. I was spooked by you pointing out my alarm. It should be done momentarily. I feel like I was randomly off last month on Tuesday when that happened. And thanks everyone for checking out, honey. Up to 50 people that have checked that out. I appreciate the support. Crusader has pro red. Yeah, for people wondering that why I just like aggressively did that there, they can't block Crusader. It is pro red. Man, it's a Tuesday. It's not a 10th. Not a test, right? I've always wondered what happens if that comes up. I've lived where we're living now for 4 or 5 years, and we've never had a tornado. I don't think I've ever heard the siren go off when it's not a test, actually. Do you boot people on the nose in paper tournaments? Try to shy away from it. We're definitely just abrupt decaying this, right? Like, not close. Just, like, take their throat. I feel like we're just supposed to set ourselves up to grind here. Alright, so that's perfect, because it means we're no longer cold to... We're no longer cold to a Blood Moon, since we have both our basics. On Thursday afternoon at 2, it always scares me. Oh, that's gotta be brutal, Tinny, right next to your office. Yeah, the one that you can hear coming in mine is real loud, which is a good thing, right? It should be loud. I assume one or both of these is about to eat crow and die here. I want to attack before playing the Nihil Spellbomb, because if they have a Culligan's Command, they're going to be incentivized to shatter my Nihil Spellbomb. So let's go ahead and play this out. Play this Blooming Marsh tap. I'm going to play the Blooming Marsh tap because I might want 4 mana at some point, but I'm going to hold the Overgrown Tomb at this point because I want to play around my opponent having either a Liliana the Veil that pluses or a Culligan's Command that makes me discard a card. Get that. He says this is opponent makes him discard a card. To be fair, where I live in the Midwest, random casual, thanks for checking out, honey. Where I live in the Midwest, it's not that likely for us to get tornadoes here. It's not that likely. And we don't get hurricanes or anything else like that here, which is nice. Well, that's really brutal. Am I supposed to cycle this Nihil Spellbomb in response? Looking for either protection or something worse to discard? Is that absurd? I kind of want to cycle this in response. Yeah, I think I do. It's like even Mutagenic Growth saves our thing here. It's a little sad to burn this, but I'm pretty sure it's worthwhile. They're down to 2 cards. As long as we don't get Lingering Souls, we're going to be in a pretty good spot here. I guess they could have a Sweeper too. Sweeper's also bad for us. What is the honey thing? There you go. Look at that. That explains the details. If you have any questions on specifics, feel free to ask. The key parts is it tries to save you money and it doesn't cost you anything and it doesn't sell your information. So it does only good things. Well, we ran out of threats, chat. Crusader? Crusader? Womp womp. God, Liliana the Last Hope is such a good addition to this deck. That would just be like an absurd draw. Again, holding this because I want to insulate against Culligan's Command or Liliana of the Veil plus. So we're 10 out of 10 getting Bedlam next turn. It's like the only reason to burn a bolt there. Boneless Black-Green Mid-Rage. Speaking of things that are great. And then I'm just going to get Plague Stinger back here, I think. Just take the evasive one. I think because they had... This was one of our better draws, but I think because they have Bedlam, we're probably still hosed here. We'll see. Ugh. Alright. Alright. Also good against us. Also good against us. It was, Man, I was excited for this one. We're 0-2. While waiting for the third match to pop, I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. My name is Jeff Hogan. I'm a full-time streamer, memer, and content producer here on Twitch. I stream Magic 30+ hours a week. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time, like I am. If you're one of the main people in the world who has Amazon Prime, if you link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, that gets you Twitch Prime included for free. And Twitch Prime gives you a free channel subscription every single month to a channel of your choice here on Twitch. You can also support my stuff by checking out some of my wonderful sponsors. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn some of your cards into other cards or cash direct with other players. There's no haggling. They just take a 1% fee off the top. Justin23, thank you very much for the bits. I do appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, my alerts were under my banners. Let's fix that. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, this stream wouldn't be possible without viewers like Anoronics, Justin Nivik, and all of y'all out there. Thanks for hanging out. There's a lot of different things you could be doing, different people you could be watching, but thanks for choosing to watch my stuff here today. Everyone's having a great week. Happy Tuesday. Look at that. And a nice full shilling session and didn't even miss any magic. Waiting in the queue anyways. That's the best way to do it. Fill the dead time with the shilling. If you didn't catch all of the leagues or can't stay for all the magic that we're going to be playing later, we've been going for an hour and a half. We're going to be going for another 4 or 5 hours today. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. All of my stuff get archived there, and I break it down by match, by deck, so you can watch just the matches that you care about. Always good for watching to avoid that actual work, that pesky actual work. This hand's actually pretty good, right? We've got some good threat density. This hand is very good against the Thoughtseize. Got our old 2-pair here. Well, I appreciate you just being here, State Your Gaming. As always, people, y'all should put yourselves first if that's not implied. Oh, I should have let on Pendelhaven, right? There's no reason not to, really. Okay, the fact that that died means it doesn't really matter. That's actually really an interesting idea, Badger. I feel like Scrying could potentially be an underutilized card. Is this the same Mardu guy? That's actually a good question. We waited a little bit. Different Mardu guy. Smells like Mardu again. I guess it could be Jund. Basic Swamp probably means Mardu unless this is a Bob. Nope, Mardu again. I imagine this matchup is hard for our deck. I don't know for sure because this is obviously my first time playing it. If we lose this match, I'm going to play out the rest of the league, I think, just to get a little bit more experience with the deck and showcase it a little bit more. I feel like we've run a little bit bad and hit some bad matchups. Like, Living End is definitely hard, and I don't know where Mardu falls in the scale. I know, historically speaking, this archetype, Infect in general, generally comes up a little bit poor against the more interactive mid-range decks in the format, like Jeskai and Mardu. Is really hard. Okay, so that my gut instinct, having played mid-range decks, having played basically this matchup from the other side of the table, I know it's generally hard for Infect. I actually really like the Dissenter's Deliverance in the sideboard, Team Hackerman. There's two copies of Dissenter's Deliverance in the sideboard, and I like that that's an anti-artifact card that you can cycle when it's not relevant. So we actually get to insulate this from Lightning Bolt with Haven plus Mutagenic Growth, which is sweet. Yep. Card Sphere is basically Puka Trade without the bullshit. Because they allow you to cash out, turn your points into cash at any point with a small fee, basically there's guaranteed to never be inflation in the system to make it basically fall itself out. Like Puka Trade did. So they have cash on hand for all the points that are in the system. Collective Brutality. Good news is this can't kill this. I guess we just let that resolve. The new sponsor is a browser add-on called Honey that attempts to save you money while you do your normal online shopping. And check out the details on them here. They're completely free. Hey, Solo Lich, thank you for checking out Honey there. Well, that's unfortunate. Like I said, I think this matchup's hard. Our opening hand was pretty good. Jacob Stormy, thanks for the brand new Twitch Prime and welcome. I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who checked out. I know I probably missed a couple of names in there, but the pop-up should be happening. Yeah. I guess I could draw. I think a big part of why this has felt hard so far is Phyrexian Crusader is definitely our best card in this matchup, and we haven't been very good at drawing it here. I think I'm going to sideboard similar to how we did in the last match, cutting the 1-mana discard in the Fatal Pushes, bringing in Brutality, Decay, Pulse, Last Hope, and these Spell Bombs. And then what else did I trim? I trimmed a Become Immense and a Mutagenic Growth. I think I'm happy with that sideboarding. If someone had a bunch of experience with this archetype, I'd probably wait a hot second, but I'd probably defer to them. But I think based on my gut, this is what I want to do. Yeah. Yeah, Shaper Sanctuary, definitely like Modern's a format where you can kind of switch to what you want to beat. So here's the question though. If you had, would Shaper Sanctuary, that would go in kind of the Liliana the Last Hope slot, right? And Last Hope seems a little bit more flexible overall. I like that Last Hope can both be a proactive card and it's a card that's good after your threats have died. Because like Shaper Sanctuary, while it's kind of absurd on one in these matchups, if you don't have it on one, it can be hard for it to have an impact, right? So like, what am I cutting though, MTG Succulent? Like, I have a lot of different ways to attack their removal. Do you think discard is a better way to approach it rather than playing like the protection spells? Because the protection spells double as pump spells, which is really valuable. Wild Defiance is interesting because it makes Crusader a lot harder to kill. I'm actually going to go ahead and Brutality here on 2 just to check for removal before I stick my Crusader. Burgle Blood Moon. Blood Moon's the reason I'm hedging the Abrupt Decay. Their hand is really bad. I guess it has two removal spells. It's fine. It's not good, but it's fine. Rethink, reassess. Double removal spell against Infect is fine. I think you're supposed to keep in some Blood Moons Burgle just because they turn off Inkmoth Nexus. I think Inkmoth Nexus is pretty important in a matchup like this from the Infect side. I am familiar with that WotC debacle. There's really no need to bring it up though, Butterfly. They messed up and they apologized for a reason. And like this card, we could very easily just ride this game to victory on the back of exactly this card. Like next turn I get to 7 them. They're gonna die very, very quickly. Usually they don't have Path to Exile. I'd imagine their only way to take this off the table is a Revolted Fatal Push or a Collective Brutality. No, I don't think so, Burgle. I know all but their draw step for the turn, so I think I'm just supposed to risk it. I'm about to get Collective Brutality here, of course, because I'm saying that. That's so fucking brutal. Oh yeah, Path doesn't kill it anyways. It's pro-white. Alright, well, their medium hand drew Pyromancer into Collective Brutality, so we're probably dead. So their hand is Bedlam, Dreadbore, Blood Crypt. Did they play the Blood Crypt? They might have played the Blood Crypt. I should pay more attention. Okay, yeah, statistically, I think we're in the pretty reasonable spot there. That's a decent pickup too, because it allows me to attack with Inkmoth, play this Plague Stinger with Blossoming Defense up, because we know they have a Dreadbore. Yeah, they had 2 Bedlams. I crossed out 1 Bedlam when they discarded the other one. Spellbomb would be absurd, because it would put them pretty far off their Bedlam Reveler, and it would replace itself. Inkmoth is very, very good. It is the backbone of these decks. For sure. And I'm 10 out of 10 pulling the trigger on defending this Plague Stinger here. Yeah, we knew they had 2 though. So they have Bedlam plus 2 cards I don't know. Okay, they burned a Fatal Push. Nihil Spellbomb, please. Nihil Spellbomb, please. Nihil Spellbomb, please. We need a Nihil or a Crusader. So they're going to get to slam their Bedlam next turn now, which feels bad. It is what it is. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, so their Bedlam costs 4 currently. You could maybe make an argument for just like nugging them for 2 with this Blossoming Defense. Become Immense would be absurd. It's actually pretty good too though. I feel like the fact that they passed here implies that they have a removal spell, which is good for us. If they don't have 2 removal spells, we really get to get them. Rancor is just like the pump spell that keeps on giving. It's like the Santa Claus of pump spells. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. So if they're smart, they're going to take this hit for 3 and then try and kill this at end of turn. Get that. Why are you smart, opponent? Stop making good plays. Stop making good plays. How am I supposed to win the game with you playing well, opponent? We don't even have to dodge Lingering Souls, right? Because we have the Inkmoth and the Rancor, we can actually just like pump spell through them potentially. No, they bolted at the end of turn. Bolting at the end of turn is the correct time to do it, so you don't get blown out by a Become Immense. Vines could be lethal, yeah. Become Immense also lethal. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They actually binned a Bedlam here, so I don't even necessarily know that they still have it. Yeah, I'm just going to pass here, actually. Feel like passing is pretty correct. Because we knew they had a Bedlam, so, like, they could have gone deeper there, and they didn't. I feel like it's slowly coming back to one, though, Pikes, between like, the Open and the Invitational win. This is a reason to... That's really aggressive. Hold lands there, so that's why I held the Verdant. Card Sphere has a point system like Puka Trade, but at any point, you can turn your points into cash minus a small fee. So, basically, they can't... The system isn't going to inflate because it has a direct to cash value honored by the people that manage the site. I think they also just, like, wanted Bedlam. I can't play around stuff at this point. We're gonna die too quickly. So, like, if they have both, they're gonna kill us on their turn anyway. So, might as well Might as well do my thing. Someone, thank you someone for downloading Honey. Hope you enjoy it. Hope it saves you some dollary dues. Still dead to Boltier, because they know our entire hand, so. Dead to Colligan's command as well here, because it can shock us, plus add a point to the Bedlam Reveler. No, wait, that's only 7, right? So not dead to Colligan. Dead to K command now, because they got an extra looting off the extra trigger off the faceless looting. If Honey is saving me money for free, doesn't that mean I'm the product? So they don't sell your user data. How Honey makes money is through referrals. So when Honey helps you, basically when Honey makes a sale by saving you money, they get a kickback back from the company that you're buying stuff from. So unlike a lot of the free services out there that exist solely to farm your user information, they're not selling your user information to people. That was one of my first questions when they asked me if I would advertise it. Here, Tick, thanks for checking out Honey. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. Thanks for checking out the stream. There's a lot of different things you could be doing, different people you could be watching. Thanks for being here where we play some Modern. I do my best to never advertise a bad business. Generally speaking, I only advertise things that I can fully research or things that I use myself. Christy was actually using Honey before they approached me to advertise. So that was an easy one. I was like, hey, have you heard of this? She goes, yeah, I have it installed and use it. And I was like, all right, sounds good. She explained to me how it worked. Magic Online is fine. We give Magic Online a lot of shit, but it's very functional at what it does. It isn't pretty. It isn't slick, but it is definitely functional. Take that $10 towards the donation deck. Woo! They had nothing. I cannot believe that we killed them through two, like, they double looting that last turn, right? Yeah, I was fully expecting them to just, like, kill my thing, but I was like, well, we're definitely making them have it, right? Yeah, Inkmoth ran the entire goal field, the entire gold post that game, right? Opponent doesn't know how to play their deck, you're supposed to draw all the removal. I'm pretty confident we're supposed to mulligan this. If one of these fetches was an Inkmoth Nexus, I'd snap it off, but it just doesn't do enough. This hand is much better. Top. We need a second black sword. The fact that this card, Apple Guy, thank you very much for the very generous 1,000 bits. I appreciate it. Be sure to take a peek at the current donation queue and let me know if there's any decks in there that you'd like to see a little bit sooner. As always, the people who support me here get to choose how soon we see things. We're 0-2, Bob. We lost an impossible matchup to Living End, and we actually died to Mardu the match before this one. If our hierarchs were death rate shamans. We're gonna, even if we lose this third match, I'm gonna play at least one more. This deck's put up a lot of results that I want to get a better feel for playing it. I'm playing the Open in Indianapolis next month, and I think one of the things people really undervalue when playing and testing Magic is that one of the best ways to be familiar with playing against good decks in the format is to play with them yourself. If you're more familiar with the play patterns and like what cards you're looking for when you're playing the deck, that gives you good insight into what cards you want to be trying to take away from them or prioritize removing when you're playing against them. Yeah, their website lets you like track money that it saves for you and stuff like that, Socio Penguin and other little things. If you click through the details on there, it does a few other stuff as well if you want it to. But you don't have to use the website. I feel like splashing blue, you should just play blue-green Infect. Had some bits laying around. Thank you, Captain Jack. I appreciate it. Good morning. Almost afternoon, not quite. I don't think there's any downtime tomorrow, right? Pretty sure there's not. I can't imagine they do downtime on a holiday. They don't want to pay people to work overnight. I can't imagine they'd pay people to work on a holiday. Moto also doesn't have downtime every week. Yeah, the queue is currently under a pseudo freeze, except for tier 3 subs and larger donations while we work it down. Which it's actually working. The queue is currently 10 decks smaller than when we started the freeze on Friday, so we're gonna work through it. What decks would I be playing if I wasn't playing donation decks? I don't know. Why would I want to Rancor the Hierarch? What does that accomplish? Why is Rancoring the Hierarch good? Can you explain yourself to me? Can you tell me why you would want to make that play? I think my current goals, so I'm going to be traveling a little bit at the end of the month. So I think I'm going to reopen the donation queue for regular small donations, $10 donations when I leave for Gen Con, and then so people can submit decks over that weekend, and when I get back from Gen Con, I'll go through and accept the ones that I'm interested in playing. Hot take. I don't think Infect was ever that bad. I think people just stopped playing it because Infect dying and coming back is a lot like when Grixis Death Shadow recently died and came back. These decks were never bad. They're just not better than everything else in the format, and variety is the spice of life, so people get bored and play other things. And the people that are good with Infect, that only play Infect, play lots of different, don't play every event. I feel like people tend to overstate the importance or the impact of metagaming in Modern and really don't realize that just like it's a format where lots of decks can do well, which means not every deck is going to put up a bunch of results at every tournament. Whenever I hear people talk about how they're going to metagame their Modern tournament, I always kind of zone out on them. And often if I'm watching them stream, I turn it off because like you just don't get it. If you think you can metagame Modern, you're just like setting yourself up for failure. Like KCI and Tron have been doing well at tournaments. You know what that means? That means they're 5% of the room instead of 3% of the room. You're not going to play against that much more Tron and KCI on average. Rylan, thanks for checking out, honey. I'm like, even this league, right? Like, we happen to run into Pyromancer 2 matches in a row. That doesn't mean Pyromancer is suddenly 40% of the format, right? It's just like, we happen to hit that 5 to 10% twice in a row, and that's like what it happens. I don't know. I think most formats of Magic kind of fall into a little bit of rock, paper, scissors, right? Like some matches are good and some matches are bad. There's a little bit more skewed matches in Modern than maybe some other formats, but I also feel like people tend to overstate just how skewed the matches in Modern are. I feel like people kind of use the Modern has a bunch of skewed high variance matchups as like a write-off for like an excuse when they do poorly in a tournament. If you already have Honey installed, don't worry about it, Roadkill. Just continue enjoying the great product. Yeah, there's lots of variance in most of Magic. That's not a Vines of the Vastwood. Vines have been lethal. I'm gonna go ahead and Maelstrom Pulse this, I think. Just like take their clock off the table. Thank you for the bits. Did you add Acorn? I don't know what that is. Oh, is that the artifact list, Anoronics? I did not. I need to do that. I'm not sure if uninstall, reinstall works, Anoronix. I'd be surprised if it did. I'm really glad I killed their Bedlam Reveler. Bolt to the dome there is scary. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it. Everything I've seen about Honey screams good technology, so I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't work. And that's okay. That's okay. If you're already using Honey, that's great. That's just a testament to that, like, it's a good product. Other people should check it out. See, Tefree, I even think that's kind of overstating it. People don't suddenly buy a new $300 modern deck or $400 or $500 modern deck just because, like, these some decks they saw do well. Like, people by and large just are going to use what they know anyways and continue playing. Not like the subset of people that are like me, that when they go to a tournament they can like find whatever deck they want and not own any of the cards. Like, those people are few and far between. Most people own a deck and they love playing that deck. Ally Encampment, thanks for checking out, Honey. And they don't change, and they're happy with that, and that's fine. That's great. That's what makes Modern awesome. Yeah, people change their sideboard cards. They don't actually change their deck. I can't keep this, right? I can't keep this. If this was a dual land, we'd keep it. Yeah, I'm gonna be a good boy and mulligan. This is a new match. This hand is absurd. This hand is absurd. Ooh, might be time for a Moto restart, chat. Might be. We're gonna give it the old re-kick here in a second. We actually won. We won the third match, so this has been a good set. Like, even though we're 1-2, and this is why I really like decks like this. Like, this deck has piqued my interest, because if I'm losing with the deck and my takeaway is this has been a sweet set with good games of Magic, like, that's what I want out of a Magic deck. I wanna walk away from having played it and be like, that was interesting and I want to play more of it. Win or lose. Hey, Calhones, thank you for checking out, Honey. Like, win or lose, that's what matters to me. It's what am I actually getting out of it? It's why Valakut Titan's on my no-fly list. It isn't that Valakut Titan's a bad deck that loses. It's that when I finish playing matches with Valakut Titan, my response is always the same. It's, that was boring. I'm gonna kill them before the escape shift, right? No, just the kernel. Just the kernel. If your computer is 64-bit computer, you should use the standard release, Maester. Droop Lion. Hey everyone, haven't been here live in a while. Been missing everyone while watching YouTube. Well, thank you for the continued support we've been watching on YouTube. Welcome to a live one. Yeah, the Death Shadow deck is fine. It has a lot of decision points. Is our hand that slow? Yeah, they can use packs to block the Crusader. And, like, the packs can turn into ramp spells. Like, they can pact. If I leave them with a pact, they pact for a Bloodbraid Elf here. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to take this Titan escape shift. I can probably kill them through a Titan. Pact for Vizier. Isn't Living End a similar style of these games, or just me doing the thing and that's it? Yeah, by and large, Master Jareth. I don't think that deck's particularly interesting either a lot of the time. Draw another search. Okay. So they have Pact. If they draw a land, they can Titan us next turn. Getting pretty close to dead. Yeah, the Legacy release will be fine then. So we're getting Titaned here. It's unfortunate. Hopefully we draw Mutagenic Growth so we kill them if they don't block. I feel like if that was good, Erdian, an established player would have already done it. On the surface, I would say that probably sounds bad because when you're playing a transformative sideboard in a Magic deck, you don't want your transformative sideboard plan to lose to the same things that your main deck plan loses to. So having a transformative sideboard plan that loses to graveyard hate is bad. Oh, this dies to Valakut because Valakut is colorless. Yep. Yep. Yeah, they killed the Crusader. The legacy changes go into effect on Magic Online on, what day? On Thursday. So we're going to be playing Legacy all day Thursday and Friday. So all day Thursday, Friday, we'll be playing Legacy on stream. This is a Duress Brutality matchup. Hit submit. Seems fine. Just max on the disruption. We conceded because we were dead. Look, I realize that I concede super early a lot on this stream, but like, we were dead. All right, so need to mulligan for things that are a little bit more aggressive or exceptionally disruptive. Oh god, these Noble Hierarchs not making black mana is so brutal in this deck. These Noble Hierarchs not making black mana has been so brutal. Honestly, I don't know if Noble's worth it. I guess the Exalted's pretty good. It's probably worth it because the Exalted is pretty great. So, I have a really valuable piece of advice for people that want to play against Scapeshift with discard spells. In a position like this, it is very, very tempting to take both the Sakura Tribe Elders. Don't do that. Their deck is 40 pieces of mana. There are basically 40 lands in their deck. Take the cards that kill you. They have far more lands than they have cards that kill us. So I just take their payoffs. Take their payoffs every time. You know, it's very tempting to be like, cheeky and be like, oh, I can take away their acceleration and slow them down. Don't do that. Just take their payoffs and hope they brick off the top. I know, and emotionally, it feels bad to take both their payoffs and then have them play a Titan on turn 6 anyways, or turn 5 or whatever. I'm like, I know it feels bad, but statistically speaking, they are far more likely to draw successfully out of their missing mana than they are to find another payoff. What's going on, Mr. Swats? Howdy, howdy. Infect. Tilt. I'm just playing my dudes out. Could this be one of those oft heard of fair Infect games? We need a honey emote. Yes, discard-based disruption is generally much worse than counterspells against Valakut. Generally speaking, that's one of the reasons why this matchup is so bad for green-black mid-range and Jund. Magic Online is running very slowly. It's about time for its first dirt nap of the day. Magic Online gets angsty. About 2 hours in, and I booted up Magic Online an hour before we started, so it's been running for 3 hours. We are playing Merfolk in the league after this one. That's true. I'm probably going to play all 5 matches in this league, regardless of the result of this one. I kind of like this deck. It's like it's running in lead shoes. Yeah, I feel like we hit some bad matchups and our draws have been pretty significantly below average. I was hoping you were sponsored by a honey company. All right, let's sit down for a little bit. Speaking of 2 hours, been standing for a while. And we took all of their spells away, which can only mean one thing. They're about to Primeval Titan us. Hey Darzog, I'm glad you enjoy it. Speaking of waifu, hi waifu. Thank you for continuing to donate money to Twitch. Oh, Christy. Spell. Spell. Ooh, that's a spell. That's a spell. It's a deck I would consider playing in paper. Yeah, it ticks most of the boxes I'd want to tick for decks that I'd play in Modern. Alright, put you to 11. Dead Escape Shift? Or did you actually brick and die? Is this the fabled Valakut player who doesn't always have it? Aw, man. Remember when I said it feels bad emotionally? It does, chat. It feels bad. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. All right, I'm gonna try the last one. We can get a couple of play points back out of it. I want to play another match with the deck. Let's give it one more go here. Big stretch. Big stretch. Let's have a moment of Hogland does social media. I got timed out once for saying I like standard more than modern. That sounds like a constructive and useful comment that generates a meaningful discussion. Oh, wait. Or it doesn't contribute anything, and I remove comments that are just noise. That sounds like a constructive and useful comment that generates a meaningful discussion. Or remove comments that are just noise. People are just like so used to zero moderation everywhere that just like a touch of moderation. They basically think that so long as they're not screaming like racial slurs or, you know, something that's overtly offensive, they should be able to say whatever they want wherever they want to say it. Like in a real adult reread tweets. Yes, that's a good. If there's one thing you take away from Hoglanda's social media, it's please, for the love of God, read your tweets back to yourself. All right, let's actually restart the client really quick. I forgot to enjoy my painter servant background for a moment. Isn't it beautiful? I want to be noticed. I got you, Ryland. The card is very beautiful. It is. Freedom of speech is a very misunderstood concept in the United States. I blame our education system. This game seems fine. It's not like super quick, but it's disruptive and it has a couple of threats in it. Seems a-okay. Watch them play like turn 1 Goblin Guide. Ooh. Ooh. Do we find the mirror match? Nope, not quite. Not quite. I donate my Amazon money to avoid having to contribute to the conversation. Do you have a donation queue for New Legacy? I have the existing donation queue that we're going to be removing Deathrite Shaman and Gataxian Probe decks from. Alright, well, their clock is actually kind of quick here, even without the Master of Ethereum, right? Do you have any particularly favorite art basic lands? I play with unhinged lands in paper. I'm gonna play this so that way I can fetch an Overgrown Tomb tapped and play Crusader next turn. Oh, Inkmoth could block. That's actually really interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I should have done that. That's better. Thank you for pointing that out. What do you think Legacy Infect replaces Probe with? Probably another land and then some more cantrips. If that, I forget if that deck plays Ponder. If it doesn't play Ponder, Ponder, and then maybe Preordain if it already plays Ponder. Fatal Push is a great pickup here. I think we're on the path to stabilization here. If we don't get hit by a bunch of copies of... God, another Fatal Push. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. You ready to go, chat? You ready to go? Beep, beep. Hop in the Phyrexian Crusader Jeep and run him over. O-V-E-R. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. Maybe like a Spell Pierce here. Really? That's interesting. I'm surprised they have nothing left. We're in a really good spot, right? The Crusader train has 0 brakes, no chill. Yeah, I must have missed it, Austrian. I don't get it then. What's the point? I still time out random things like that because they're not particularly useful or constructive. I guess let's see how they attack here. We're gonna fire up Inkmoth here. I'm just gonna burn this Fatal Push here, right? Like 10 out of 10. We're just gonna go like block here, Fatal Push here, Rainy Day. Thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate it. There's a lot of people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for the support with the Twitch Prime sub. Thanks for keeping me employed. So they're dead to a green source here. Also dead to become immense. To be fair, we have 280 characters now. It's so many characters, chat. It's kind of a green source. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. It is kind of a green source. I'm just gonna push this guy off a cliff and pass. Wow, I am surprised we won that game. We actually have a lot of really good cards for this matchup, huh? I don't think this is a Liliana the Last Hope matchup, right? I feel like it's not. I definitely don't want the discard spells. I want all my cards that play to the board. Yeah, maybe on the play. I think Maelstrom Pulse is also too slow. I got you, Rowie. Yeah, I think I like this configuration. What do we think? Brutality is much too slow. I would definitely bring in Liliana before I bring in Brutality. They're both clunky. But Pyromancer is just one of our best ways to steal a game. Yeah, it's bad versus Ravager and Overseer. I'm gonna run like this. You could also argue that, like, if Ravager and Overseer are staying on the table, we're probably in trouble anyways. What'd you expect for someone that wants to start streaming Magic? The two things that are important for starting and as a new content producer. Number one is, well, okay, three things. The first one is the one you just said, having fun, doing it because you're having fun. Two is get a consistent schedule and stick to it. And three is network with existing streamers that can host you, because the biggest hurdle on Twitch is getting your initial audience. I'm actually going to mulligan this again because double Pyromancer is terrible. This is actually the best hand we've had. Let's try Green Source. Opponent also went to 5. Opponent went to 5 here and we went to 4, so... The hardest part about streaming on Twitch is gaining that initial audience. Once you have, in the Magic channel, once you have, you know, 150 to 100 viewers, you generally, God, I'm good at this game. Once you have 50 to 100 viewers, you can start collecting more viewers pretty easily. These are actually some of my favorite games of Magic. Games of Magic where, like, both players... God, I'm glad I mulliganed double Pyromancer. Holy shit. Alright, we're gonna trim some of the Pyromancers in the next game, believe it or not. If there's a next game, we're trimming Pyromancer. Because they brought this in for some reason. Sorry, to go back to what I was saying, some of my favorite games of Magic are actually the ones where both players have very few resources. Yeah, I'm pretty sure boarding and rip is wrong. I think that's overboarding. I agree with the assessment that is going on in chat that rip is kind of overboarding here. If the sponsor is doing something negative, sure. If it's just nitpicky, let's not. If the sponsor is doing something that you feel is negative that I should be aware of, that could potentially impact whether or not I should keep them as a sponsor, I would definitely like to know that. The Inkmoth activation doesn't really gain me anything, because I'm attacking for 2 regardless. Although maybe I should have just attacked for 2 in the air. They could have chump blocked with the Ornithopter, I guess, huh? Basically just like looking for pump spells at this point, right? Am I supposed to kill Karn here? I'm probably supposed to kill Karn, right? God, that seems like such a waste. It's a real shame we drew another land and not a pump spell. Nah, I'm just gonna kill them. I mean, we're lethal next turn. They have an Ornithopter and an Inkmoth Nexus. And, like, attacking our Inkmoth into their Inkmoth is a bad plan. Yeah, it's because they have blockers that I feel like maybe I should kill this card. So, Ravager triggers when it dies. So, if you have Rest in Peace in play, Ravager can't move its counters. That's fine. I don't care about that. Rancor. Rancor. The issue here is I'm going to attack with this, and they're going to get to trade their Inkmoth Nexus for it. So, like, maybe this is just a bad attack. And for those of you that don't understand how this is going to trade for this, this will turn back into a 1-1. Oh, really? Well, that's good for us. Our Inkmoth gets to live. Have a land, friendo. Do I block this? Blocking is worse if I draw Rancor, right? I could block plus Mutagenic Growth. Thanks, Sid. I try. I kind of like block growth. Activating the Inkmoth doesn't matter because my card has First Strike and Infect. So if they activate the Inkmoth, their thing's going to become a 5-5. But then First Strike Infect is going to make it a 1-1 before it deals damage to my 4-4. So First Strike and Infect is a combo. And then their Construct's going to die at end of turn, so we'll have 4- counters on it. So the Inkmoth's going to go back to being a land and the Construct will die. It's actually a really good draw for us. Hey, McCullough. Thanks for the 313 subscription. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for the quarter of a year. So I'm just going to go ahead and Nature's Claim this since we drew that. Which now means they can't trade with this Crusader in combat for the same reason we ate their last one. So if they block here, it's going to cut this down to a 1-1. So they're going to 7 Infect here, which means next turn, Blossoming Defense on the Inkmoth is lethal. This deck is neat. I know our record in this league wasn't stellar, but I think we hit one bad matchup, and we ran a little bit bad into the 2 others. I definitely wouldn't guarantee that I played them perfectly. It's my first time playing the deck, but I feel like this deck is better than the result that I have today implies. Exalted was the win. No, because it was only... That's only 4. That wasn't anywhere near the win. Yeah, that attack should leave them dead, assuming they don't have removal. And we're gonna definitely make them have it here. Yep, yeah, I'll be at SCG Indy and I'll be at Gen Con. Oh, now Galv Blast doesn't do it either. They probably don't have it. Alright, sweet. So we scraped out a 2-3 after a rough start. I don't really want to give feedback on this deck. So like when we're working with brews, I usually give some specific feedback at the end of a league, but this is an archetype that's been, while it's not a fully established deck, the green-black version of Infect, there have been a lot of people playing this, so I'm a little bit hesitant to give anything too specific without playing more games myself. I know from those games, Noble Hierarch not making black mana felt really awkward a number of times, but on the flip side, its Exalted effect is also very, very valuable. So I don't know that I would necessarily cut it. I don't know that it would necessarily be good to cut it, but that might be something that you might want to experiment with a deck like this. You might want to experiment with playing a little bit more mid-range type thing. I don't believe I'm going to play any Magic events at Gen Con. The prizes for all of them in general are pretty medium. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So Noble Hierarch is something that I would experiment with, potentially not playing in this deck. So what am I doing next? What are we doing next? We're playing